Let's talk about mass deportation, one of your big agenda items. You've talked about prioritizing people who have criminal histories.
Correct.
But is it your plan to deport everyone who is here illegally over the next 4 years?
Well, I think you have to do it. And it's a very tough thing to do. But you have to have, you have rules, regulations, laws. They came in illegally. The people that have been treated very unfairly are the people that have been online for 10 years to come into the country. And we're going to make it very easy for people to come in terms of they have to pass the test.
Yeah, I disagree. I think the people who've been treated the most unfairly are the United States citizens, the voters, the supporters of the Democrats and the Republicans. You just dump a bunch of immigrants in our communities and expect us just to figure it out. The president and all of them should be less sympathetic to immigrants. I do understand that they are human beings, and I do believe that those situations have to be dealt with humanely and appropriately. But I do not believe that you guys should lean so heavily on the side of the immigrant as opposed to the taxpayer, especially when you guys realize how important we are to getting you elected and put in offices. I just think that this interview is a very good interview because it just shows where the focus is. And it isn't on the American people. It isn't. It's really on the immigrants. But Trump is moving in the right direction by doing his best, in my opinion, to get them out. That's the best he can do. But as a whole, the United States government ain't with it. And the Democrats act like illegal immigration is legal, and it isn't. It's illegal.
They have to be able to tell you what the Statue of Liberty is. They have to tell you a little bit about our country. They have to love our country. They can't come out of prisons. We don't want people that are in for murder. So we had 11,000 and 13,000 different estimates, 13,099 murderers released into our country over the last 3 years. They're walking down the streets. They're walking next to you and your family. And they're very dangerous.
The 13,000 figure, I think, goes back about 40 years.
No, it doesn't. No.
That's what I'm saying. This is like that Matt Bear. Remember when Max Bear attacked Kamala? He was doing that shit. Now, I hate people who interview like that. And you don't have to argue your side. You're interviewing. You ask this man a question, and whatever he says, even if it's a goddamn lie, just let it roll and go on to your next question or follow-up question or wherever you're going. But to be that contentious, that's what that Fox interview was to Kamala. And even though I dislike Kamala and I dislike that interview, honestly, it's just unfair to the candidate or to the person you're interviewing when you are trying to give him a gotcha moment right in the middle of a goddamn interview. Fuck. Interview him and then do a follow-up interview where you can point out what you thought he was responding, in untrue fashion or whatever. That's what he do. Shit, we know that. I think people realize that most of the time he's just bullshitting, and you gotta almost wait and see what he really does because you don't know what the fuck he's gonna do. I don't think he knows either. And sometimes people who interview him seem to be influencing him because it seems like if he doesn't have a prepared answer, he'll make a goddamn policy call in the middle of an interview. And it's something you may have never heard before, but he just says it and you go, whoa. And then you'll hear it again. You go, It's just kind of a very independent thinking person. It doesn't make him a genius or nothing, but it makes him a person that a lot of people don't seem like they can just tell him what to do. It seems like it'd be some work to get to be a person in Donald Trump's life who he listens to. That'd be a person who's done something to influence him or get his attention or something.
It's within the 3-year period. It's during the Biden term now. That was a fiction that they put that out. This was done by the Border Patrol. It's 13,099, and it's during the Biden period of time. And these are murderers, many of whom murdered more than one person. You don't want those people in this country.
But you're saying something, sir, that's significant. I just want to make sure I'm clear, which is that you're saying, yes, you're going to focus on the people with criminal histories, but everyone who's here illegally has to go.
I'm saying this.
I don't know if he said that. I hope he did. That's what the hell I want to hear. Everyone who is in this country illegally should be removed. And then they should be able to come back in however they get here illegally. Knowing that you can sneak into a country is horrible. That's just not a good start. To start off on that foot, that's not the way it's supposed to go.
have to get the criminals out of our country. We have to get people that were taken out of mental institutions and put them back into their mental institution, no matter what country it is. Do you know that Venezuela, their prisons are at the lowest point in terms of emptiness that they've ever been? They're taking their people out of those prisons by the thousands, and they're drunk. And just to get back, because I know exactly what you're getting at. Number one, we're doing criminals, and we're going to do them really rapidly. We're getting the worst gang probably with MS-13, and the Venezuelan gangs are the worst in the world. They're vicious, violent people. And you see what they've done in Colorado and other places. They're taking over, literally taking over apartment complexes and doing it with impunity. They don't care. They couldn't. They just are. They're in the real estate business.
You know, the local police say that is not the case in Colorado.
So that's another one of those pushback. He's in the midst of elaborating, lying, answering a question, whatever the hell you want to call it. I really believe he needs the opportunity to let him go. We need to hear all the shit that's going to come out of his mouth. We need to hear it. And then we don't need her interrupting to debate. An interview is not a debate.
Oh, it's totally the case. I mean, I have it
you
on
don't
tape.
believe the local police.
I play it. I used to play it at my rallies every single night. No, they're breaking into doors. They're taking over the building.
But sir, you
and by the
raised
way,
the point.
The police are afraid to do anything.
You raised the point that the logistics are complicated. You said
Sure
it yourself.
they are,
You would
but
need
everything's
24
complicated.
Yeah, I mean, you need 24 times more ICE detention capacity just to deport 1 million people per year, not to mention more agents, more judges, more planes. Is it realistic to deport everyone who's
You have
here
no
illegally?
choice. First of all, they're costing us a fortune.
She's not asking, is it the right thing to do? Is it realistic? It's just a negative way of asking a question because it's obvious which side she stands on. And it's very unfortunate that any American who pays taxes in this country is okay with illegal immigration going on and increasing. And I wonder how she'd feel if maybe a bunch of illegal immigrants were dropped in her neighborhood and began to frequent and be around the places and work in the places that she goes to, the cleaners, the grocery stores, you know, the flower shops, the restaurants in her community, and see if she likes it. I mean, she might, I don't know, and it might already be there. I don't know, but it's something that they need to consider. And it's something that needs to be addressed and not ignored any further. I got to take my hat off to Donald Trump for this interview, this kind of rhetoric and this kind of talk, and he is carrying it into the White House. He could have stopped talking about this shit as soon as he won the election a few weeks back. But for him to still be pressing with it is good. He could be on to the next thing. He don't have to be talking about this right now. And he said he would, and he is, and hopefully he'll go even further with it. And I got to pat him on the back for that. And this young lady here who's interviewing him, I know she's doing the best she can, but I think sometimes the interviewers and their producers kind of get in the way. You know, there's some really good questions there, but you got to let the guy answer them.
But we're starting with the criminals, and we got to do it. And then we're starting with others, and we're going to see how it goes.
Who are the others?
Others are other people outside of criminals. We have convicted murders. We don't mean people that are even on trial. We have people that have murdered numerous people are on our streets and in our farms, and we have to get them out of our country.
What about dreamers, sir? Dreamers who were brought to this country illegally as children. You said once back in 2017, they, quote, shouldn't be very worried about being deported. Should they be?
Well, shit now. Wasn't it the 80s when Reagan did that amnesty, remember? And he can give amnesty. Just fucking goddamn it, give amnesty. Cut the goddamn line. Make the laws, strengthen them, enforce them, and let's move on. Let's not keep doing this shit again and again and again. Give them amnesty, Trump. Pick the age, the year, the situation, whatever a person needs to qualify, and make it clear, and let's move on. But we have got to get past this shit. These companies don't want to pay wages, so they'll hire illegal immigrants. Make them pay the right wages. They're going to have to give up some more. CEOs are no longer going to make 30, 40, 50, 100 times what their top paid employee makes. That doesn't make any sense. No one's worth that kind of goddamn money. Pay a CEO a very good wage so he can still have his mansion and all that. But just to pile money up on the guy, no, you're not going to be able to pay the workers. You're not. And you haven't been. So we need to change the way this is going.
Worried now?
The dreamers are going to come later, and we have to do something about the dreamers, because these are people that have been brought here at a very young age, and many of these are middle-aged people now. They don't even speak the language of their country. And yes, we're going to do something about the dreamers.
What does that mean?
And
what are you going to do?
I will work with the Democrats on a plan, and if we can come up with a plan. But the Democrats have made it very, very difficult to do anything. Republicans are very open to the dreamers. The dreamers, we're talking many years ago, they were brought into this country. Many years ago. Some of them.
If they really are open to the dreamers, if this shit is true, what he's saying, I mean, I don't know. And they could sit down and work something out and take the dreamers off the table as far as any of that go. Let them finish their school and let them own their businesses. Let them buy their houses. Let them do whatever it is they want to do if they are truly brought over here, you know, as innocent 8-year-olds and don't have anything to do with how they got here. They're babies when they got. I get it. But he can do amnesty like Reagan did. And get that taken care of. And then we can work with the rest. But everybody who comes over as a legal immigrant isn't a bad guy. Some of them are really nice people. Some of them will make great neighbors, great co-workers, great friends. But they have to come here illegally. Everybody who's nice just can't come and be. That is not part of the criteria. Being nice is not part of the criteria. You have to be some other things, like here legally. That's the important thing. Just sneaking into the country. I mean, who does that?
Them are no longer young people. And in many cases, they become successful. They have great jobs. In some cases, they have small businesses. Some cases, they might have large businesses. And we're going to have to do something with them. And
you want them to be able to stay. That's what you're saying.
I do.
Okay.
I want to be able to work something out. And it should have been able to be worked out over the last 3 or 4 years. And it never got worked out. You know, Biden could have done it because he controlled, you know, Congress to a certain extent, right? He could have done something, but they didn't do it. I never understood why, because they always seem to want to do it, but then when it comes down to it, they don't. I think we can work with the Democrats and work something out.
Let me ask you about another group of people, the estimated 4 million families in America who have mixed immigration status. So I'm talking about parents who might be here illegally, but the kids are here legally. Your borders are.
You're talking about separation.
Yeah, well, I mean, there are two aspects to this. Your border czar, Tom Homan, said they can be deported together.
Correct.
Is that the plan?
Well, that way you keep the. Well, I don't want to be breaking up families. So the only way you don't break up the family is you keep them together, and you have to send them all back.
Even kids who are here legally?
Well, what you're going to do if they want to stay with the father? Look, we have to have rules and regulations. You can always find something out like, you know, this doesn't work, that doesn't work. I'll tell you what's going to be horrible. When we take a wonderful young woman who's with a criminal, and they show the woman, and she could stay by the law, but they show the woman being taken out, or they want her out, and your cameras are focused on her as she's crying, as she's being taken out of our country, and then the public turns against us. But we have to do our job, and you have to have a series of standards and a series of laws, and in the end, look, our country is a mess.
This is going to be interesting. You know, I know a lot of people got a lot of different feelings on it. I have my personal opinion is just everybody who is 100% illegal in this country should be deported. That's just how I feel about it. It's too difficult of a situation to try to break down any further than that. If the dreamers are going to be separated and taken off the table, then the president needs to do that. And then they don't apply. But the ones who do are the people who come into this country intentionally illegal, and they know that it's possible. And a lot of them are on their way now as we speak because they know Joe Biden's days are numbered and they want to get their asses in here so they can stay. And it is so unfortunate that his little administration is known for that. That's just a significant amount of people basically calling you weak and knowing that on your watch they can just walk right through your front door. And I don't think anyone would like that in their home or on any property they own. And us collectively as our country, we don't want that in our country. It's a sad day to think that a president up there talking about enforcing a law, a bad law. It's horrible. It can be reformed. It can be fixed. It can be fortified and strengthened. But I do believe that we should support the fact that he's swinging in the right direction. He's trying, I think. And if anybody think he's trying to deport illegal immigrants to hurt us, I don't think so. It might harm them individually, but that's something that we can't do. We can't just let people in our country because it benefits them. That's just not the way immigration should work. And I hope that our Congress and our Senate is able to get together and figure something out. Are we going to vote them out of office and get somebody in there who will? It's just the way it's going to have to be. We can't be wasting time with these people because they stupid. How dumb can you be? You got to figure out what works best for people in the country and then do it. That's just all it is to it, folks. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you on the next episode of Black Popcorn.